We're almost done, except we got Niners and Jets tonight. Welcome to the Up and Adam Show. It's our first day as part of TNT Sports on True TV, celebrating that, popping bottles everywhere. Thanks for watching, guys, on FanDuel TV, on YouTube, HBO Max, and MSG Network. Welcome, welcome. We're going to break down all of Week 1's action, starting with the overtime thriller in Detroit last night. Stafford not happy about that one, but I still believe in the Rams. We'll get to all the things that you are maybe freaking out about. I'm going to temper your expectations and your anxieties with five-time All-Pro Luke Kuechly, who will be with us today. We'll also, of course, talk about Aaron Rodgers making his return in the Bay. It was beautiful. It really was. Wild week on Sunday before games even started, as we all know. Last night, the perfect cap to it all. That's where we begin. Maybe you turned the TV off. Maybe you had to get your Z's. Rams and Lions, they went back and forth all night long in Detroit. David Montgomery, former Bear, he punches in the walk-off touchdown to get the Lions the win without allowing Matthew Stafford to even touch that ball in overtime. Oh, Montgomery, little NFC North. Gotta love it. Here's Dan Campbell on his team's win.
That team gave us everything they had, man. They did. They threw it at us, man, and give them some credit. They did, man. They laid it on the line all the way. But the bottom line is, man, it's hard to break us now. It's hard to break us. As a matter of fact, you ain't going to do it.
Man, it's hard to break us. Man, this team's going to be a problem. And what stood out to me the most here on the Lions side is that the Rams, they were able to completely erase Amon-Ra St. Brown. He had 3 catches, 13 yards. What? The offense able to adapt with the game on the line, lots to like here. And so much of that was Jameson Williams, superstar last night. Every time I looked up, Jameson Williams was doing something. 134 total yards, the first time we've seen him surpass that 100-yard mark in his career so far. So if this is how he's going to look this year, I don't know how you defend this offense. The guys last night, Tarico and Chris, talked a lot about the depth at receiver on this offense being a problem, but if they have Jameson looking like he did, no problem in my eyes if he stays healthy and they can keep clicking like this. Off the jump, Week 1, what? They've got... Nobody is more excited to get back on the field than Dan Campbell and these boys. And I'm glad he gave credit to the Rams, too, in that clip, because I walked away believing in them after this one. Young defense, post Aaron Donald. They looked fantastic. They gave the Lions fits at times. Offense scored 17 unanswered points with that Puka completely decimated O-line. These Rams have it. And when they get healthy, watch out. And this only adds to that weird chip on the shoulder thing they got going on. Luke Kuechly coming up. We're going to talk about the Jets and the Niners tonight, but recapping a little bit from last night. I can't wait to talk to Luke about the Saints and Panthers and everything that's going on. Let's dabble in the world of the Cowboys, shall we? This is unbelievable. Here, Dak Prescott, of course. Dak agrees to a record-shattering contract with Dallas hours before the game started, making him the highest-paid quarterback in the league right now. So we'll dig into that. It was one of those, let's drop this before the game so nobody can really talk about it. Everyone's going to be excited about their respective 32 teams, okay? Dak came out slinging it. This is Kevin Durant's MVP pick, our FanDuel fam here. He threw this beauty. Ooh, from the sun to the shade, Brandon Cooks, all while fading away to kick off the scoring, and the Cowboys never looked back. I mean, the game felt over at halftime. You're going to get your nachos. You're going to get your churro at half. It was 3 points on this. I'm sorry, this Browns defense that I was debating saying is the best defense in the AFC as one of my predictions. Thank goodness I didn't say that. Unbelievable. They allowed 13 points per game at home a year ago. They were stifling at home. And what was this? All the drama, all the distractions, though, on the Cowboys side, all the negativities that were permeating the air. The Cowboys came out of the gates looking like they are in mid-season form, and it was not just Dak. Mike Zimmer, this defense smothered the Browns' offense. They were, every phase, super, super sharp. Special teams, punt return touchdown. Brandon Aubrey nailing every kick. Scott Hansen extra excited about that one on Red Zone yesterday. I don't want to overreact to Week 1. Nobody should. The Cowboys were impressive. They were who was better than them yesterday? Maybe the Saints against Carolina. Sorry, Keeks. We'll talk to you in a second. I know I was questioning whether or not they would go over their win total of 9.5 on FanDuel. I said, I don't think that'll happen, but it doesn't look like an issue, at least to start the season. Okay, Titans, Bears, let's get to it. We're going to get into Colts, Texans. We're going to get into all the big games, but we got to dig into the debut of Caleb Williams. This is why I was telling, and am telling you can continue to do it. Go get Red Zone. Bet $5 on FanDuel Sportsbook. You get a 3-week free trial of Sunday Ticket, which includes Red Zone, of course, and everything. You can get that brought to you by YouTube TV, and see games like this. You want to be part of the history, the lore. I really thought, and Hamilton and I were exchanging texts back and forth, this was like 2006 Sexy Rexy, Rex Grossman Bears, okay? The Bears scored 0 offensive touchdowns. They have 148 yards of offense, but they rallied back from a 17-0 hole to beat the Titans. I can't believe they were still in the game in the fourth quarter. It was unbelievable, but I'm sure Kuechly will love that it was a defensive, win, because we saw a blocked punt return touchdown from Jonathan Owens. Go-ahead pick 6 from Stevenson. The Bears shut out the Titans in the second half. They shut them out. What does that do for the confidence of a team going into a big Week 2 matchup? I mean, Caleb becoming the first #1 overall pick to win his debut since David Carr back in 2002. That's insane. And while Caleb's stat line wasn't outstanding, he made key plays down the stretch, right? He's just getting his feet wet. He's getting comfortable. And here he is talking to the wonderful Christina Pink after the game.
We understood that the game wasn't over. We understood all the work that we've done and all the work we put in. And obviously, big kudos to the defense. Big kudos to the special teams. Oh, yeah. Big kudos to the special teams and guys like him. It obviously wasn't a game that I'm going to play in the future and not the game that I wanted to play for my first game. But just kept fighting, kept trying to lead the guys anytime that I could get to talk to them, communicate to offensive linemen that we're going to go win this game.
I mean, he didn't have the game he wanted to have, but when they won, he was so freaking excited, and I loved that. And it wasn't what he was so happy for his team. I think it built confidence. It built a lot of that, and it sort of, the way it played out underscores and underlines why Chicago is the perfect place for Caleb Williams. He doesn't have to do it all himself. He can have a game like this, and the team is good enough, that defense, way good enough to get the win and keep going anyway. Now, the O-line makes me nervous. Got to be a little bit better, and Caleb has to be better because they've got the Texans on Sunday night. On to C.J. Stroud, baby, and that's going to speak to the potential that these Bears have once Caleb Williams does figure it out, and I have no doubt that he will. So much to get to on the program. We're going to take a short break here, I think, and then Luke Kuechly will join us on the other side. I know he was on the call for the Panthers. Not the best game, but we're not going to freak out. After Week 1, we'll also preview Aaron Rodgers' return after this. Will you do me a favor and go through and put the breaks where they need to be in the rundown? Like the layouts for sound and the separation of segments? No, not in there. And no bump break, yeah, but there wasn't a layout for sound. Scroll up. Okay. Hammy, which game surprised you the most?
Gotta say probably Bengals Patriots.
Really? That didn't surprise me.
I know we've gotten so used to the slow starts from the Bengals, but I just thought with a fully healthy offseason with Burrow, they're going to come out with a little bit more. That was tough.
You know what surprised me is them not stopping the run.
Yeah.
Because that's my Bengals gripe. Outside of like the run, first of all, run the ball. But I'm really not surprised. They just got to figure it out. They're just like a slow start team. Maybe that's just what it is. I don't know. But then it's also did they stop the run in a way that you were impressed by?
No, I mean, Ramondre looked great, too.
I think it's more about the Patriots because people...
Yeah.
But I'm not surprised by that because I think they will have a top 5, top 10, top 7 defense. They're good.
They are.
This could be a playoff team, and everyone... What was their over-under on FanDuel? Like 4.5?
4.5.
What about all offseason? Hit that over. I'm wrong about the Cowboys hitting the under on 9.5. They looked freaking so good.
They really did.
I heard we might have a Cowboy on the show tomorrow.
It's starting to look that way.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Booking. Let's effing go. That sounds great. We got
Big-time
Kuechly
Cowboy.
today. Tomorrow, I'm going to just say, we have Devontae Adams on the show tomorrow.
That is unbelievable.
Devontae Adams and CeeDee Lamb on the show tomorrow. Hello. Welcome to Tuesday. On our program following, I don't know what's going to happen tonight. I'm not even going to guess. Do you have any idea how that game's going to? I have no idea. I have literally no idea.
It's one of those ones that's really tough to get a feel for because we don't know what the Jets are going to look like with Rodgers. We haven't.
They're going to look
seen
great.
It enough yet,
I think they're going to look great with Rodgers.
So
if they look bad, wouldn't you be shocked? Like if they look, you wouldn't. I would be shocked.
No, I would be shocked. Yeah, that defense is going to bring it. Rodgers is going to be ready to go.
Yeah, I think we're back in the air. No, okay, I don't know.
Allow the top of your screen. They need 4. In the pocket. Carr going deep. Rasheed, he's got him. Shaheed, he's into the end zone. And that's a Saints touchdown.
And that was the first touchdown of the 2024 season. Gotta love it. My next guest, a 5-time All-Pro, 7-time Pro Bowl linebacker, the Panthers radio analyst, watching that go on. When that happened, Luke Kuechly, what were you thinking?
That was painful. I got to watch it again already. I thought I was going to get a few days without it, but it was a difficult game all around for the Panthers. That was the opening drive of our season. We won the toss. We deferred. They went right down the field. I was watching the pocket on that play, and we had really good push. He throws the ball up, and then all I see is J.C. Horn trailing behind. It looked like a cover 3. I think we might have blown a coverage. It was a difficult way to start the season. I felt like they came in, and on the offensive side of the ball, they were kind of able to do whatever they wanted. Clint Kubiak came in, had a great game plan. They were stretching us wide and wide zone. When they'd stretch us wide, they run downhill power, 2-back stuff right at us. They sprinkled in play action. That was really efficient. Foster Moreau had a big game catching play action routes to the sidelines. They jumped all over us. And I think Derek Carr looked way more comfortable this year. Last year was heavy drop back with the Pete Carmichael scheme. A lot of drop back pass versus this year with the Clint Kubiak. Everybody's seen it with the McVays and the Mike McDaniels and the Kyle Shanahans. They're going to run the ball. They're going to run it. And once you start to have those linebackers suck up to stop the run game, they're going to pull it and run boot pass. And guys are just wide open. So it was a tough way to start the season for us. But in one game, we're not going to overreact. That's what everybody's going to do on a Monday is say, hey, the sky is falling, but I'm the eternal optimist. I like our team. I like Dave Canales. I like his positive energy.
Me too.
Yeah, you got to put our head down and grind a week 2.
We don't want to overreact. Are we underreacting? I'm looking at, you're saying he's more comfortable. Derek Carr, literally, when I was with him, I could tell he's more settled. He's ready to go. Kubiak's injecting this attack that they were sort of trying to keep a secret. Allen did his thing last night, defensively, of course. Are we underreacting to the Saints? Potentially, because here's what's happening. I like the Saints. I think it's ridiculous that this team does not the fans sometimes don't support their quarterback. I'm like, great job, Derek. And all I heard was, it's the Panthers. It's the Panthers. It's the Panthers. So what would you say to that? Are we underreacting maybe to how good the Saints and formidable they might be in this division?
I think they're better than everyone thinks. So I would say yes to your question. On the offensive side of the ball, they kind of did whatever they wanted. They threw it well. They were timely taking shots. They ran the ball extremely well. They played great defense. Cam Jordan, Demario Davis, Pete Warner, Marshawn Lattimore, Tyrann Mathieu. Tyrann Mathieu is still
so good.
Tyrann Mathieu, he's 32 years old, forced a fumble, recovered his own fumble.
So awesome.
Active. I think that they have an offensive coordinator now that's going to get along really well with Derek Carr. Just how they run it, that Shanahan-McVay style offense is so difficult to compete with. And I think the one piece on that offense that really sets them apart is Taysom Hill. You look at the success that the Niners have had, the one guy that always gets talked about is Kyle Juszczyk. He can line up as a fullback. He can line up as a running back. He can line up as a tight end. He can catch the ball. He can run the ball. He can block. He can get on the perimeter and block. They have that with Taysom Hill now, and they can run wildcat with him. So when he's in the game, he's listed as a tight end. So is it 12 personnel? Is it 13? He lines up in the backfield. It looks like 21. So on the offensive side of the ball, you've just got problems with scheme, right? And then on the defensive side of the ball, They're older, they're veteran. Dennis Allen has been a really good coordinator for a long time. And then they blocked a punt yesterday and they returned one to like the 30-yard line on our side of the field. So
Yeah.
they did everything really well. And you can say what you want about maybe we didn't play as well as we could have on the Panthers side, but they still scored, they scored a bunch of points. They played really well on defense. They forced 2 receptions. They recovered a fumble, and we went out on downs twice. So I think we didn't play very well, but also I think the Saints are a really good football team.
I love that. I mean, the Bucs looked really good too, but I look at the Saints and they didn't even have. I mean, Chris Olave was blanked. He was 2 catches for 11 yards. So when he gets going and they figure that out, they might. I think we might be playing this clip back and saying this is a team that we should have given more love to in the offseason and more faith into the quarterback and the coaching system. Let's talk about the Lions. This is the last night game. You heard what I had to say. They pull off the win. Matthew Stafford, he had some brilliant moments. You have faced him a time or two in your career. What did you think of Stafford on Sunday Night Football?
Well, I think everyone's looking like, hey, does Stafford still have it? He's 36 years old, but he does everything well. And when they have one of their best receivers go down, he finds a way to make it work. Obviously Cooper Kupp had, I think he had 14 catches yesterday. Puka goes out, but when you watch Stafford, he threw really well against pressure. He knew where his hots were. He still has the big arm. He still has a security blanket in Cooper Kupp. And then the one thing that he does really well is I don't know how you play defense against him in zone coverage and get a jump on any ball, right? His ability to throw the ball looking in the wrong direction. He's going to look front side. He's going to throw it backside, and it's going to be pinned on a guy's chest. That as a linebacker that played in a lot of cover 3 with Sean McDermott and Steve Wilkes and Eric Washington, you get set up. Your timing dictates when you break. Your timing also dictates where routes are. So as the down progresses, based on concepts and formations where receivers are supposed to be, and that's where you break. So as Stafford's looking to his right, your clock's ticking, you're pushing front side, where the route concept's going to be, and then he slings it across the middle of the field to a guy that, I don't know how he sees those guys. I don't know how he finds them. But I'll tell you what, when you sit in zone coverage or you're a single hole player in man coverage, there's a difficult opportunity to jump the ball when he throws it.
Yeah, it's got to suck for linebackers when he does those no looks, huh? That's not fun. It's fun for anybody out there. The biggest underdog of week 1. Let's get right to this. This is like what gives all teams all across the league faith. It's the Patriots, right? Gerard Mayo, they trade Judon, who are the receivers. They knock off the Bengals, a Super Bowl contender, 16-10 to kick off the season. When we have Joe Burrow to start, right? Where I'm expecting him to come out swinging. This is my MVP pick, Kuechly. 164 yards passing, no touchdowns. How worried are you?
I think you look at what the Bengals have been the past couple of years. They've struggled to start. The last couple of years they've been 0-2, 1-3. That's it. You know what? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
T. Higgins doesn't play. Jamar Chase misses a majority of training camp. They didn't score in the first half of the game. They had a couple turnovers. They let the Patriots run the ball out at the end of the game. They punted. The Patriots get the ball on the plus side of the 2-minute warning. And then that last first down by Ramondre Stevenson, he just willed himself to a first down and they took a knee. But I think, I grew up in Cincinnati. I know what the fans are like in Cincinnati. The one positive in Cincinnati is the confidence that Joe Burrow has. He has confidence in himself. He has confidence in Zach Taylor. He has confidence in his guys on the offensive side of the ball. So yeah, they start slow. You'd love for them to kind of figure that out, but as long as you got him back there, you have a chance to win. T comes back. Jamar gets a little bit more, in football shape. You can say what you want until you go out there and you run and you cut and you have a guys leaning on you. It's a different game once the ball gets snapped versus just being in off-season shape. So I love the Bengals. Like I said, I'm from there. As long as you have Joe Burrow, the confidence that he has and what he can do and his team and that organization, it's a disappointing start at home, but I think they're going to be okay.
They also didn't run the ball. That was my big gripe yesterday watching this. I watched it very closely. I'd like them to win this, get to the Super Bowl once more and win it. And I'm looking at the numbers. They were just under 80% pass on their first 5 drives. That's wild. It wasn't until drives handing it off to Zach Moss, what did they do? They go down and score. So, this offense is always best when it's balanced. But I'm going to hang my hat on the, Chase had food poisoning. There's that. Okay, great. And then there's the fact that back in 2022, they started 0-2 to start the season and still, made it to the AFC Championship game. So they started 0-2 last year and made it back to 5-3 before Burrow got hurt. So I'm not that worried. But on the other side, I think we're definitely underreacting to the defense of the Patriots, and it must feel good to get a fellow linebacker, Gerard Mayo, who's not celebrating a victory Monday, by the way. They were back at work today, but he got the Gatorade shower. You must have loved seeing this.
Absolutely. Just the excitement that the guys have for him. He's been there for a long time. He came up under Belichick, was a great player at Tennessee, and then a really good player in New England. And when guys like that get promoted, I think there's a real feeling inside of the organization that, hey, we believe in what we have in the building. And I think that goes to coaches. It also goes to players. I think it speaks to what Belichick has been able to do to develop Gerard Mayo into what he is now. But I think you watch that game and how they played it. It's vintage, old school Patriots, early 2000s. We're going to play really good defense. They forced a couple turnovers. They had 3 sacks. We're going to play really well on special teams. And then we're just going to pound the football. Ramondre Stevenson played really well. He had over 100 yards. He scored a touchdown. And then I'm going to go back to that run he had at the end of the game. He broke through. I think it was like a 2nd and 7. He broke through, and he got hit at probably 4 yards, and he just willed himself past the first down to win the game. And when you're standing on the sideline and you're a defensive player, and you're like, hey, we need 1 first down to win the game, and you see your running back go through there, put his shoulder down, dig out a couple extra dirty yards, it just makes you feel good. And just like the Lions are a product of Dan Campbell, that shows you, hey, they believe and they buy into what Gerard Mayo wants to be on all sides of the football.
What does Lou have to do, and what do they have to do to stop the run? They could not stop Ramondre, and it's a worry I have that sort of continues from last year. Now they're down Reader.
I think the run game is an interesting thing in the NFL right now. I think running the ball, you have to be able to run it when you need to, and you got to be able to stop the run when you need to. So running the ball in the middle of the game isn't as big of a deal with me. They didn't score a ton of points. What was it, 17-10? That doesn't scare me, but you have to be able to stop the run when everybody knows they're going to run it, right? Mm-hmm. At the end of the game right there, you're going to put 8 guys in the box. They're going to run power football. They're going to pull guys. They're going to run gap schemes. You got to be sound in what you're doing. You got to blitz accordingly, and you have to do your job. In situations like that, everybody's like, hey, I need to be the guy that's going to make the play. I got to be the guy that's going to make the TFL. No, you got to do your job. And I'm not worried about that Bengals defense. They lose a fantastic coach, but it comes down to want to. It's going to be cover 3. It's going to be fire zone. It's going to be 8-man box. Everybody knows what they're doing, but at the end of the day, it's who does it better. So running the ball in the middle of the game isn't a big deal to me. It's more of when teams need to stop the run, you have to be able to do it, and they weren't able to do that yesterday.
Am I crazy to think the Patriots are a playoff team? Based off what we saw from Miami to start, Buffalo, obviously the Jets go tonight. I think this could be just you're talking about the way that they play. Why not?
It's a tough division. Tough division. They've got 3 quarterbacks that are making a lot of money. Mm-hmm. I think if you look right now, I think they're probably number 4 in that. Until you beat Buffalo, until you beat Miami, and then Aaron Rodgers back healthy with the guys that he has on the offensive side of the ball and that defense. Yeah, I think skill-wise they got a chance. I think they play really hard, but that division is a bear right now. The AFC in general is just so difficult.
Let's just get into it. We'll go to some of these other games. But Aaron Rodgers takes the field tonight against those Niners. I don't even want to dig into it super much in my own head because I want to enjoy it and not have any expectations. But, you're 2-2 all-time against him. I spoke to Fred Warner at training camp. He called you one of his idols, by the way. If you're Fred Warner tonight, what are you studying all week? What are you paying attention to, and what are you executing tonight?
Well, I think the number one thing right from the jump that Aaron Rodgers has that's super unique is patience in the play clock. He's going to let that thing run all the way down to 0. He's going to get the look that he wants. He's going to snap it when he wants. And his hard count's unbelievable. So if you're mugged up there, if you're playing defensive line, or you're a backer in the A-gap on a pressure, you have to make sure that you're seeing the play clock. You understand where he is in the play clock, when that hard count's coming, because he's the king, as everybody knows, of free plays. If he gets a free play, you better believe that ball is going deep. So I think, number 1, understanding the play clock with him in his hard count. Number 2, you can't make it too easy for him. The first time that we played Green Bay, we played him in Lambeau. First drive of the game, we're getting ready to get off the field. It's third and 15. and I'm in the A gap. I'm not even in the pressure. I step across the line of scrimmage and drop.
Okay.
So he hard counts, I jump off sides, they get the ball on, it's 3rd and 7 now or 10 or whatever it was, convert a first down, 2 plays later, Jordy Nelson touchdown. That same game, we're going pressure, and it's a fire zone. We're dropping a defensive end, we're bringing front side pressure. And remember, he comes up to the line of scrimmage, and it's dead quiet at Lambeau. When he's on the field, it's quiet. He gets up there, he looks, he says, hey, pressure's coming from here. This guy's dropping. Hey, fan to this pressure. He knows the defensive end's dropping to number 2 in the slot, and he pins a ball right on Randall Cobb's chest for 10 yards. So early in the game, my first time with Aaron Rodgers was hard count's dangerous. Number 2, if you show him too early in the play clock, he's either going to check out of it or he's going to slide protection and get exactly what he wants. So Fred Warner and that defense are really good. So if I'm Fred, I'm being really alert of what the play clock looks like in hard count. Number 2, when you associate all that stuff together, you have to make sure that if you're playing cover 4, you just can't line up in cover 4. Because the moment he knows what's going on, you're in trouble. So those are my 2 things for him right away is play clock, hard count, and number 3, don't show him too early.
He has the lowest interception rate, of all time. He just doesn't, it doesn't happen. When it happens, it's whenever it happens, I'm like, oh my God, what? How did this?
You have to fool him.
How did this weird, what?
You have to fool him. If you don't fool him, you're not going to.
How do you fool him?
Throw a ton of them.
It's not like he's not aggressive, right? He goes for it, and somehow it still works. So I guess the question is, why is he nearly impossible to pick off?
I think he's very intelligent. I think he's super intelligent. I think his feet and his arm get him out of a lot of trouble. When you watch him throw the football, there's not a lot of guys that I used to love watching him in pregame warmups throw pat and go and just flick it. He and Michael Vick had the ability to just flick the ball, and it goes 50 yards. And nothing's changed with his ability to throw the ball. So I think he can take riskier throws. He can take more risk just with his athletic ability. So you compare that with he knows what he's doing. He knows what he wants. He largely has a really good feel for what the defense is doing. And then his just natural ability to get the ball where he wants to in a small window is unique.
I mean, you're saying it's because of his athleticism. Will he have the legs? I guess that's the question, right?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, coming off that Achilles, you never know.
Yeah, can't wait. Okay, Cowboys. They do this thing where they pay Dak. They try to sweep it under the pre-kickoff rug so nobody discusses it. Do you have any thoughts on it? Do we feel like Micah's the odd man out now? We've got, obviously Jerry's trying to make it work here. It's 4 years, $240 million for Dak. Is Micah Parsons the guy left out in the cold? CD's got his money. Dak now. What do you think?
I think he's the next guy in line just chronologically, right? So you bring CD, and then obviously you got to take care of your quarterback, and then Micah's next. He's a problem. He can line up everywhere. He can rush the passer. He can chase and go get it. He's big. He's powerful. He's unique, and that's the best way to describe him. If you're Mike Zimmer, you've got a dude that you can do stuff with. And if I'm a coordinator on both sides of the ball, like go back to Clint Kubiak, he's got Taysom Hill that he can line up wherever he wants and he creates problems. Now Zim in Dallas, he's got the same thing with Micah Parsons. So yeah, I think his time's going to come.
I don't know. If they can't pay all. If they pay all 3, how do you fill out a roster? I don't know. They're going to take some of your middle schoolers and start paying them in candy from 7-Eleven. How do you pay anybody?
We'll take Micah Parsons on the middle school team. We might have to reclassify him, but we'll take him. Micah
had a great game yesterday. He had a sack, he had 5 quarterback hits, and he was tweeting last night, I need to do better, which I love.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah, I love seeing that. What did you make of Deshaun Watson? Rough week 1.
Yeah,
getting skewered. 2 picks, 50% of his passes completed. He got sacked 6 times. This offense looked good with Flacco last year. What is the issue at quarterback for the Browns?
I think that's what everybody's asking themselves right now. I think, you look at the game, I think you play the Cowboys, I think there's an inherent pressure that gets put on the opposing team. They're going to score. They're going to put up a bunch of points. Dak's really good. And then coming into the season, I think there's just been so much pressure for Deshaun to live up to that contract that he signed. That guaranteed contract, they traded all those picks to go get him. and they just haven't. It just hasn't quite worked out. And for what reason, I'm not really sure. He's got guys around him. He's got Njoku. He's got Amari Cooper. He's got, he's got Chubb when he's healthy. They've got guys. They're good up front. Stefanski's a good coach, and it just, for whatever reason, it hasn't quite clicked yet for him.
You don't know? You don't have any Kuechly insights to that? Like watching? Really?
No, not on that one. I'm still trying to figure that one out. It's a little bit of a conundrum for me.
That is really a scary thing if you're a Browns fan watching that Kuechly can't sort it out. But it's we'll see what happens in week 2. I wanted to ask you about the Vikings because they looked good. The Giants did not. Sam Darnold at MetLife. Obviously, JJ's gone. He's the starter. 19 for 25 passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. But you know this guy. You saw him up close when he was in Carolina. What did you make of Darnold's Kevin O'Connell offensive performance yesterday?
Well, I don't think it's a surprise with Sam, right? He was drafted high for a reason. He's a great dude. He's super smart. He's super athletic. He's competitive. And then last year, he had an opportunity for the first time in his career to just sit back and watch, right? He got to go to a good organization in San Francisco, got to watch Purdy, and then he got to sit in that Shanahan offense, right? He got to see what works, see what doesn't work, and then boom, now he goes to Kevin O'Connell, who basically runs the same offense. They're good up front with Minnesota. They can run the ball really well, and then they have the 2 receivers, Justin Jefferson and Addison. He's been in that system now for going on a second year. McCarthy got hurt, so now there's nobody looking over his shoulder thinking, hey, if I'm Sam and I have a couple bad drives, am I going to get pulled for the first round pick? He doesn't have to worry about any of that. And then with Sam, you look at it yesterday, you look at the numbers, you're like, all right, what do these mean? 8 receivers touched the ball, so he wasn't forcing the ball to the 2 receivers. He just spread it out, and in that offense, it's all about throw the ball who's open. We're going to scheme it up. We're going to give guys opportunity to get open. We're going to draw plays up for guys. And when they're open, just put it on them. So I think he's in a great offensive system. I think he's super talented. I think it was really good for him last year to sit in that offense behind Purdy and just watch. And then you pair that with McCarthy being hurt. He's the guy this year for Minnesota, and I think that's a great feeling for him.
I love it. Nice to have Justin Jefferson there, too. He looked awesome. Was so excited to score a touchdown with his teammates. I wish them well. I think it's a lot of pressure having just the best wide receiver in the National Football League on your team, getting him the ball. I wanted to ask you, you're not surprised about Sam Darnold. I think a lot of people were about his performance or low expectations. What did surprise you in week 1? What were you impressed by? Maybe something in a game or something that we haven't hit yet. Was there something that you saw, even in your own game, something that impressed you or surprised you?
I'm a big Baker fan. I love Baker Mayfield. I think he had, obviously had a great season last year. And then this offseason, Tampa went and paid him, right? So they said, hey, we're going to give you a 3-year deal. We're going to pay you a bunch of money. You're our guy. And I think once that happened, he felt embraced by Tampa, right? And I think that team really rallies around him. His toughness, his edge, his attitude, his competitiveness. I think it helps that he was with Liam Cohen in 2022 back with the Rams. So they have some familiarity a little bit from that. But then when you watch that game and you watch how he believes in the guys on his team, he threw a ball to Mike Evans, a fade in the low red zone, and he wasn't open at all. But Baker's attitude to me is, I believe in Mike Evans.
Yes.
I believe in my guys. I'm going to give you a chance to go get it. Now go get it. So if you're Mike Evans, he gives you so much ownership in your ability to go play that you want to play for a guy like that. So I'm a big Baker fan. They put up 37 points week 1. They've got 2 dudes that can really stretch it and go get the ball in Godwin and Mike Evans. They're a fun team to watch.
And he's settled and he's paid. And every time something good happened, his smile just got me going. I was like,
he's just a football guy.
Yeah, he was super happy. Confidence is something that works really well for him. So he's going to use that. And they look just as good as the division champs that we saw last year. It's going to be hard to take them out, even as good as the Saints might have looked, and the Panthers coming along, Falcons, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, we're going to do a little Luke and Rally, okay? These are quick topics. I have 3 of them for you. Luke Kuechly, Luke and Rally. Who's the losing team you're most concerned about after week 1?
Hey, we're going to go back. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Bengals. I'm not super concerned, but I think there was a lot of hope and expectations for them this year in the struggle on offense in week 1 at home against a team that everybody thought they were going to beat, and they didn't start scoring until the second quarter or the second half. I I just was looking for a little bit more, but that's what they do. They start slow, and like I talked about previously, the confidence of Joe Burrow doesn't scare me, but I was hoping for a little bit more to start week 1.
Who's the rookie that you sort of fell for, that you said, okay, I like this week 1 performance?
First game of the season, Xavier Worthy. That dude can run and he's fast. He caught that reverse, and you watch it, you're like, there's nowhere for him to go. And he put his right foot in the ground and turned upfield. And it reminds you of the speed of Tyreek Hill. And they really didn't have him going deep vertical that game, but he is fast. They know how to use him, and Mahomes has the arm to just sling it out there and let him go run underneath it.
I mean, imagine what you could do with him at Charlotte Christian Middle School, on writing on napkins at the next wedding you're at. What you could do with somebody who looks like Worthy out there.
We would figure it out. We'd figure it
sure.
out.
Which team are you positive will bounce back in week 2?
Baltimore Ravens. Okay. I'm a big Lamar fan. They've got guys on offense. I think that those 2 tight ends are going to be a problem this year. Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews, 2 really good players. Zay Flowers is really good. They can run the ball with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. They had the opportunity to go win that game 2 times at the end of the game. They just missed some throws. But hey, that team is coached by a really good guy in Harbaugh. They're really good on defense. I'm a big Roquan Smith fan. There's a bad taste in their mouth. They're going to be at home this week. I look for them to get back on track.
Love that. Now tell me what happens tonight, who wins rather, and one specific thing. Call your shot and a prediction for the big Jets-Niners finale to week 1.
Yeah, it is stacked with guys. Debo, Christian, Ayuk, Trent Williams got his deal. Obviously, Breece Hall, Aaron Rodgers. I'm a Niners fan because my man Christian's on the team.
Of course.
I want Christian to play and have a big game. I don't want the Niners to win. So, but the NFL is better with Aaron Rodgers back around. Him and Garrett Wilson are really good together. But I'm gonna go Niners at home. Christian, big game, and get them going in the right direction.
And Aaron's better when you're not on the field.
When I'm not jumping off sides, he's not as good.
Love that. Luke, we appreciate it so much. Thank you for the time. Great job with the Panthers. I like the positivity about everything, especially the coach. They'll get it together, Panthers fans, and we'll be cheering them on, as we will be Christian McCaffrey. And just the game tonight will be amazing. So, Kuechly, let's do this again next Monday.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you, sir. Future Hall of Famer Luke Kuechly joining us. We will hit up some more games, the ones we didn't. Maybe we'll get into a little bit of the Raiders-Chargers bout yesterday. Stephon Diggs is back in business. We never doubted it for a second over here. We didn't get to, thank you so much. We didn't get to, did you get that footage of him? You did? Wow, I was like waiting for you to do it. I didn't think, sneaky. Amazing. Hey, okay. Hey, Hamilton.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to be done with Kuechly. I think you need to let him be geekly. I think there should be a franchise. He's so bright and so amazing that the nitty-gritty would be great. I don't know what that looks like, but just in a matchup, how did this happen? I think the vagueness of it doesn't, I think he's so nitty-gritty that the treetops don't work for him as well as the nitty-gritty.
And there's so many directions, you can go to focus it. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. He was good, but there's a lot much more, deeper to get with him. And I don't know, the Cowboys thing, something in that matchup would have been, I think, having him take me into why Micah should get paid from this game, from his performance, Yeah. Like setting it up with the tweet. He didn't think he did well. Why should he get paid? Show me, what do you think he did exactly? Like, if we could pre-produce that with him.
Yeah.
I think that would do better than he should get paid. He will get paid,
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Cool. Very cool. What did we get to with him? Raiders?
Raiders and
what did he say about the
Vikings
situation? But, I mean, what did we expect him to say, right?
With the Vikings,
just that we shouldn't be surprised that Darnold is good?
Yeah. which I thought was, I think a lot of people were surprised yesterday with how good he looked. I thought that was saying something from what he saw out of him when he was in Carolina. There were a couple of those balls that were just like, you can't throw it any better. That touchdown to Jefferson was as good as it gets.
He's so good. What works for Jefferson is that he's so easy to root for. There's nothing unlikable about him.
Yeah, that's true.
Is there anything unrootable about? I mean, there isn't. And
No.
it's that he has the pure joy covered, which is like, it's hard to have him not be your favorite player. It's hard. The way he taught everything.
Hurts looking the other way. Lofts it. Barkley, end zone, makes the grab.
Stroud on the slant. He's got Diggs, who's got a touchdown.
Here's Jones, cuts to the outside, and Aaron Jones is in for a Vikings touchdown.
Mixon, head of steam, running left, takes it in for a touchdown. He's out there blocking for another good Tony Pollard run, and Pollard is gone. Titans strike first.
Dudes change teams, and, they either keep it up or they are even better than before. Unbelievable. Pollard, there's Stephon Diggs. Let's talk about the Texans and the Colts. Welcome to Up and Adams, guys. Let's get through some of these games. We want to try to hit on all of them. I think we're in pretty good shape here. Let's hit the Colts-Texans, which was one of my favorite games. I'd say I watched that one more in depth as of this Monday morning than a lot of the other ones because it's a rivalry. They hate each other. Anthony Richardson came out slinging, which was amazing. And we got to start with Diggs, who I sat here at this table in May, at the Super Bowl even, before he was traded, all of this, and said, is it possible he won't thrive? Really tell yourselves that as you buckle up and get ready. Is there any world where he does not thrive as a Texan? Nope, he did. 2 touchdowns. Anthony Richardson went shot for shot with C.J. Stroud. They both looked so impressive. The difference maker was Nick Caserio and these aggressive swings he took this offseason. Everyone knows I'm a Caserio gal, okay? By the way, they gave him the C, Stephon Diggs. He scored twice. He punched in the, eventual, as he does. And that's, by the way, where the Texans needed him. They ranked 16th a year ago. And yesterday, perfect. Sterling, 3 for 3. And then there was Joe Mixon. He had more rushing yards than anyone in week 1. Sorry, Saquon. 30 carries for 159 yards and a score. They leaned on him way more than I think anyone anticipated because of how this passing attack is so loaded. It paid off. I, in fact, was watching the Bengals game thinking, maybe they, for the first 3 quarters at least, if they had Mixon, maybe they would hand him the ball. And then they, of course, gave it to Zach Moss, so that's neither here nor there. And they'll fix that. But you couldn't sort of ask for a better immediate return. I don't know how Caserio does it. He does it, and it immediately starts paying dividends. And Houston looked every bit like the team ready to make the jump into the Super Bowl, into New Orleans. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw it at all. I think they're just getting their feet wet. And Diggs is going to be a huge factor, but credit to Caserio, their coaching staff. Their entire energy is brilliant, and I can't wait to see what's in store. They've got the Bears on the docket, those Texans, week 2 against young Caleb and a really, really feisty Chicago defense. That's going to be maybe my favorite game of this week. And let's move on to Cardinals-Bills and get there, because Stephon Diggs used to play there, new face, new place. Bills didn't look shabby either. They had the red wedding. They got rid of everybody. They fell early. Early hole they have to dig themselves out of to beat Kyler and the Cardinals, but they did it. And, even after a full offseason as offensive coordinator, Joe Brady's approach hasn't changed from last year. I like the consistency. It worked. Why would you fix it? The Bills leaned heavy on the run game, 33 runs, just 25 passes on the day. They had 9 carries, 2 rushing scores from Josh Allen. And this is where I got to kind of call bull on what Josh told me at camp. Listen to what he told me like a month ago.
I don't like running. I don't like running in the off season. I don't like running sprints. I don't like any of that stuff. The only time I like running is when there's guys chasing me. So trying to get out of that and let these other faster guys and quicker guys and guys that can take some more hits. I mean, I can take a hit or two, but don't want to be in the business of that. So find ways to get it to my backs and my receivers and tight ends.
Sure, Josh. Yeah, this isn't like This looks like you're having a bad time. This looks like a total drag. Oh, yeah, you're not enjoying that. You're not enjoying that at all. You don't want to be in the business of that while you're leaping through the air past 3 defenders in the end zone with the bandaged left hand. Yeah, it looks like that sucks for you. It doesn't look fun and like you're going to do it. I called BS, and I knew it when you said it, too. In all seriousness, James Cook, super helpful. Josh's legs, which they're going to use. And this balanced passing attack that saw 8 different players get multiple targets. Selfless. Everybody getting the ball, everybody involved. That is proof that this Bills offense is still going to be terrifying and dangerous even through all of the changes that have gone on. And as you can see, what my hypothesis was, they're happy and thriving, and the Texans and the Diggs are happy and thriving, and 2 things like that can exist at the same time. It's wild. Jags Dolphins, let's move on. It must have been so hot down there. Weird morning. Tyreek Hill has a traffic stop, turns into an arrest. I don't know enough about it to comment on it, but he made it to the game. He played. And they didn't look like their usual selves on offense. It is week 1, but they had only 7 points in the first 40-plus minutes in this game against the Jags. And then it was the defense, the question about this team that answered the call and got them the win. ETN looked like he was going to ice the game, right? The Jags putting him up 24-7. Holland, a friend of the show, flew in out of nowhere to punch the ball out of his hands and get it back. Tua hits Tyreek for an 80-yard touchdown like we're used to. On the very next play, does that wild celebration like only he would do. And the Dolphins outscored the Jags 13-zip after that point to get the win. And, you know, the defense did turn the momentum on the field. Tyreek credited a moment with Tua. If you watch the Up and Adams show, this doesn't surprise you at all.
But the thing that really motivated me the most was when we came in during halftime, and it's the first time I heard Tua's like Hawaiian accent. Like, it's crazy. Like, he was like turned up and animated in the locker room. I'm like, okay, I'm liking this. Like, he was like going, and I'm like, yeah, let's go, man. Like, he called me out, J-Dub. I'm like, yo, I'm loving this, bro.
I love seeing it. We've seen it all offseason. Tua is settled. He's paid. He feels like he belongs. He's confident. That is all credit, of course, to the organization, his teammates supporting him from day one, and Mike McDaniel's wizardry in being a hyper-vigilant man who knows what people need to hear. I witnessed it myself, and he does that. And if this Anthony Weaver-led defense can play the way they did in the second half, holding the Jags scoreless over the final 30 minutes of the game, this is a Dolphins team that can go to the Super Bowl. This is a Dolphins team that I guarantee will win a playoff game for the first time in 24 years this year. All right, let's switch it up. Steelers, Falcons, give me those helmets. Okay. So Justin Fields gets a start because Russell Wilson's injured, and he leads the Steelers to 6 field goal drives in a win against the Falcons. Let's listen to Justin with Pam Oliver after the game.
The biggest thing is I know how good our defense is. I know how good our team overall is. So, just making smart decisions and, let my teammates work for me. It's tough to clean up, want to score more touchdowns and less field goals, but overall, I'm happy with the dub.
Okay, we would have loved to see some touchdowns for sure. I was still impressed with Justin Fields. He hits George Pickens in stride. That's impressive. That's nice. A couple of big plays. I think he makes the run game a lot more dynamic and harder to defend because you have to figure out his legs and account for that too. But the offense moved the ball consistently. They didn't turn the ball over. That's probably what I'm most impressed by. And he let, as a veteran quarterback said to Pam, he let the defense carry him. He knows how great they are. No surprise, if this defense didn't come out swinging and look dominant, there'd be a problem with Pittsburgh. Okay, T.J. Watt, he's in his Defensive Player of the Year form, chasing another one. They forced 3 turnovers. They kept Bijan from making a game-breaking play, which he wanted so badly up against the mustachioed Arthur. They were all over Cousins all game long. He was super frustrated. So I don't know that Russell Wilson will be healthy. The schedule makers, of course, would have loved him to and will love him to be, as they are going to Denver to face his former team. But it does seem like Justin has sort of laid the groundwork now. This is not how Tomlin would have wanted it, but there's a very real controversy at the quarterback position heading into week 2 and after in the great, great franchise of Pittsburgh. Okay, Broncos, Seahawks, let's get to that. Let's get to Seattle, okay? Seahawks, they beat them. They earned their first win in 15 years with a head coach not named Pete Carroll, and for that we congratulate them. I believe one of the least talked about fan bases and teams in the entire NFL. I don't know if that you went around around to at Super Bowl, where there's the most dense NFL population, and said, who's the head coach of the Seahawks, people would even know that it's Mike Macdonald. Would you recognize this face? I don't know. But there he is getting a little shoulder action from Marshawn. I love this moment. And that's not even the most bizarre thing that happened, right? In the first half, the Seahawks got dropped for 2 safeties in the span of 7 minutes. And here's Macdonald. If you've never heard him speak, he talked about that moment with Marshawn.
Yeah, I've never had a former player talk to me mid-game. It's pretty cool. I was like, we have like another 3 quarters to play. But just to see those guys around, I mean, it's awesome. I mean, he's one of my favorite players of all time. I mean, he's myself talking to him as they were taking the field. Like, oh, shoot, I need a call on first down. What did he say? Honestly, I don't know. He's talking about our defense.
Is that your first in-game necro?
Is that what he did? Yeah, I guess I blacked out.
I'm sad he wasn't talking about something completely outside of football, like Pac-Man, or I don't even know, the weather in California. Like, I'm sad he was talking about football. But enough about Marshawn. How about Kenneth Walker? He is brilliant when healthy. He helped the Seahawks score 17 unanswered to open the second half and take control of the game. He had over 100 yards in a score. The defense did not make it easy or cute for Bo Nix. He was struggling. Geno continues to make plays and not get talked about. I think that's the goal for this team. Everyone's going to talk about us. Talk about us. No one does. I don't know what this game meant as far as my confidence or where to put them in sort of the NFC pecking order. Obviously, the Niners, I got to see what they look like tonight. And I'm sure they'll look good, but they have my attention and should have yours. Big one tonight. Part of me wants to go. It's so close. Part of me wants to go. I know some people going, will I be back in time for the show? I think so. We'll be back. Jets, Niners. Woof. Jets, Niners. I was just there, Hamilton. It's so easy to get to. I was there last week. I was invited to be part of, I think, a kickoff celebration. There is no community of women that comps to what the Niners have going. I've talked about it on our show. I talked to Fred Warner about it with Sydney Warner, his beautiful wife, and the Claire Kittles and the Kristen Juszczyks. They all come together and are so more competitive. George admitted that Claire's more competitive than he even is. But I got to be part of this Women of the Niners event. It is 10,000 women strong. I'm giving away tickets to games. It was so fun, and it was all babes. They let us go on the field. They brought out all 5 freaking trophies. That's Tracy Sandler, a fangirl, launched her own thing. I love that, love that, love that. That's Lindsay on the right, who does so much with the Niners. It was fun. We answered questions. It was a sold-out house, Hammy, and these women are all so excited. They all have, like, season tickets. They're pointing them to me at the stadium, like, that's where I sit, that's where I sit, breaking stuff down for this game. It was crazy to have the trophies all out there, because it just reminds you of what the expectation is with this team year in, year out. And they got to get through it. They got to get through it.
Yeah, and it's they are an organization, too, where, they've had women really heavily involved in their success throughout, from Denise DeBartolo York all the way down. So awesome that they have an event like that, and awesome you're able to be a part of it. It was really cool to see.
Kate was there coaching before it was really cool and as normalized as it is now to coach. So there's big things. Denise, I mean, unbelievable matriarch. So you're dead on there. So very cool to be a part of that. I didn't sleep at all that night. And then we ran to Kevin Durant's house the next day. But I loved going up there. I'd go back anytime. Thank you to Jacob Phil for having me. Of course, Corey for his support when we were there, talking to those players. And now we gotta get these boys a win tonight. I don't know who I want to win. I'm not going to pick. Don't ask me to pick. Don't ask me to pick.
Yeah, it's a totough one for you. Now that you've realized how easy it is to get there.
It's very close.
You're taking this Taylor Swift jet.
I have someone who's very. Yeah, I have that connection just back and forth through there, and so then it makes it very appetizing to want to go and hang out and go. But it's a beautiful. Have you been up there ever?
I haven't. No.
It's like the one Super Bowl I didn't go to, and then I've got to go to a game there. I haven't been to a game there ever. Sorry. Okay. How does Garrett Wilson like being motivated, and does Aaron do that?
Just the greatness of him and how he goes about his his routine in year 20. You would think he would maybe slack on it because he's been doing it for 20 years. But just he's taken that much more emphasis in being detailed, and that's inspiring. That's inspiring.
This is a great defense. How much pressure do you feel to deliver for him this year, and what could be the last year? As you said, he got 2 more years in him.
I wouldn't say it's pressure, just our standard that we want to live by in order to get where we need to get.
When you put a quarterback like him, under center, any team is a Super Bowl contender. So
Aaron Rodgers right now in the game is my number 1 QB.
Yes.
I admire Aaron Rodgers. He's my favorite quarterback of all time.
But then you have guys like Aaron Rodgers coming out. Do you remember that mic'd up moment?
Boy, do I. He helped me ascend in this league big time, man. I mean, that moment between me and him where he let me know, like, hey, I think you're one of the best.
That was your all-pro year.
Without him saying that, I don't know if I would have, got that recognition right away, and I'm so grateful to him. Unfortunately, I can't buddy with him when week 1 comes, but, hey, Aaron, it's all love, though. I appreciate you, brother.
I love this. Great one tonight. The matchup I'm really looking for is the corners in San Francisco, Lenore and Ward, going up against Aaron Rodgers. Spoke to them both. That's a legend.
I'm trying to pick him off, have him sign the ball for me.
Ward wants you to sign the ball if he gets a pick off you. Would you oblige?
No.
Just a quick no, absolutely not. Love that.
Well, somebody, we're going to have to edit this out for sound, but
well, you are the Jets, so it's kind of fitting.
Said he caught a pick off of Tom and brought the ball to him after the game to sign. I don't know. That'd be a little weird. You know what? I'd probably do it. If I was like a 5th or 6th.
The Niners are 4.5-point favorites. I'm being told in my ear. By the way, Aaron has by far the lowest interception rate of any quarterback in NFL history. He does not throw picks, so this would be a pretty amazing call your shot and get your ball signed moment from Ward or Diamador Lenore, who wants a piece of him. Aaron Rodgers downplayed the return to the Bay thing. George called BS on that, so just let the fireworks fly. Enjoy tonight. We'll be back tomorrow with Devontae Adams and CeeDee Lamb. What a Tuesday on Up and Adams.